What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the Aviators. So we've made huge progress on the Luscombe. I mean, the last couple weeks have just been epic. The engine is done. All the mechanics of the plane are done. I spent a good 3 days doing nothing but wiring. It was one of those things where I started seeing wires that were like electrical tape together, and it was one of these things where it was like, you know, I could try to figure this out and probably get relatively close to what it should be. And then I was like, no, I'm just gonna chop it all out. And I have a box of wires that I pulled out of this thing, replaced everything with shielded wire, took all the circuit breakers out and used the combo switches that are a circuit breaker and a switch. So that reduced a ton of the wiring. The master had a fuse on it, which was weird to me. I don't know why you would have a fuse on the master. So we rewired that switch as well. And, you know, Eldon and Ron and Todd and Gary over there at the shop, those guys, I mean, they've like forgotten more about airplanes than most of us will ever know. And so when you're working on one of these old airplanes, I mean, those guys, they know all the tricks. They know how to do everything. And so the interior's starting to go back in. I'm trying to kind of figure out what pieces go where. And it's one of those things where when I got this plane, it was a pile of parts. So if you go back through the videos, you can see where there's just no rhyme or reason for what some of the parts are. Well, as we gotten closer to where we are today, they all start to make a bunch of sense. And shockingly, there's not one part missing from this airplane. I mean, I had boxes of parts and there isn't one part missing. So the annual is basically done. He's gonna sign off on it in the next couple days. I think he just needs to write it up. So that's really cool. And well, let me show you everything. All right. Okay, so first of all, here is all the wiring I took out of the airplane. And there is a ton of just junk in here. And it was one of those things where I just wasn't gonna mess with it. And so here is the airplane as it sits right now. So right here, we had the switches, and then down here we had the breakers. So that left me with an empty row. Well, I've got a really cool idea for how to fill up those spots right there, and I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I still need to make a new panel right here, which I'm gonna do. And I still need to put the glove box in, which I'm going to do. But you can see I've kind of rough fitted the interior pieces here. There's one there and one there. The back of the plane is basically done at this point. You can see I've started to get the placards in. The battery, went ahead and put a new master solenoid on it and a charging little thing there. And then the wires, they come out, they run through there. Move this out of the way. They run through this part and then out right there. That will have a fiberglass cover over it to protect those wires. And, you know, they're all basically new. Wing wires are new. Let me go ahead and turn it on here. So basically we pull the master, hit the nav lights, and that gives us some juice to the lights. Let's see here, wing lights should all be live at this point. There it is. And then there it is. And there's the pretty airplane. It's really turned out great. You know, taxied it over here today, and you know, I've been kind of working on it. So anyways, what's left to do? Okay, so I have to put the interior in, and it's actually sitting right here. Got to put the floors in. Those will kind of be the last pieces that go in on this. Let me turn those lights off so that battery doesn't go dead. Okay, so let's see. The interior's got to go in, and that'll probably take me a full day tomorrow. I've got some cosmetic stuff I'm going to do on the panel to kind of close it out. I'm going to plug up those holes, and then I'm going to do some just touch-up painting and some wet sanding and some polishing to make the panel look right. And it will. It's going to look really good. It doesn't look great right now, but it will. I've got some more painting to do on some of the parts for the interior. I'll do that tomorrow and get those parts installed. And then it's ready to fly. I mean, technically I could fly it right now. The annual signed off on. You know, I have 100% confidence in this airplane. The engine runs unbelievable. This morning we kind of fired it up, and one turn of the prop and it just fired up and ran beautifully. So I've heard that about these engines, that once you get them tuned to where they need to be, they're just bulletproof. And so this appears to be one of those engines. And so I'm real happy with it. And, you know, I've got just some cosmetic stuff to do. And the crazy thing is, this airplane might already be sold. One of my friends has kind of watched the progress and watched everything we've done with the plane, and he's like, you know, I think I want that airplane. And I'm like, cool, you know, it'll be a great airplane for you. He's a new pilot, not a tailwheel pilot. This will make you a tailwheel pilot. Just taxiing it this morning, you know, brought back vivid memories of my mall. So, you know, he'll do real well with it if he actually, you know, if he decides to pull the trigger on it. And he's pretty excited, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did. So this would be one of the quickest kind of projects I've done, but overall, I'm real happy with the way it turned out. And you know, tomorrow I'll do a video after everything is done and it's a completed airplane. Then we'll go do some taxi testing. One of the things that surprised me about taxiing this airplane, and this was the first time I taxied it today, was how effective the brakes were. I mean, I could have stood up the tail on the brakes. It was like that. So it was a really cool thing. I didn't think drum brakes were that effective, but apparently they are. You know, that's it for this video. I mean, everything's good. Everything's coming together. There are no deferred maintenance things. There are no things that I'd kind of like to do. I've basically taken the position that I'm just going to do everything and make this a plane that I would go fly for years. And so that's what's happened here. So anyways, tomorrow you'll see a video, hopefully, of a completed airplane. Then, you know, I'll spend a couple days just taxiing it around and making sure that, you know, making sure I'm comfortable with it on the ground, do some high-speed taxis, and then I'll probably go fly it. So I'll bring you all along with me. So anyways, you like this sort of thing, like, subscribe, comment. Until next time.